Dr. Shah, one of the big topics that we need to discuss is the prolonged screen time, not only for children but for adults.
Adults also, absolutely.
How detrimental is it? And when you define screen, is it any screen that we're talking about? Is it phones? Is it laptops? Is it TV? What is the exposure as compared to before? How harmful is it?
I think, Ekta, you bring up an excellent point. It implies every single digital screen, from your phone to an iPad to a laptop to a desktop to a television. So when you talk about screen time, it is cumulative for all the screens. Like Dr. Natrajan said, when you're looking at any screen, you stare. So your blink rate goes down and you get exposure, you get dry eye. Your exposure to blue light increases. That can affect your sleep pattern, especially if you are exposed to a lot of these screens 2 hours before sleeping. Very often as we are staring, our posture changes. So the ambient light in the room, the contrast, the background, the ergonomics of how we are sitting in front of our screens changes. So you will get neck pain. So it is not a disease, it's a condition. It will affect productivity.
Correct.
It will affect your efficiency when you work. You will get irritation, discomfort in the eye, you might get watering, some people get redness. Some people will get accommodative headaches because when you're constantly focused on a near screen, you get induced myopia.
Okay.
And after focused near work, you suddenly look up and look at a distance. You might find things are a little hazy. So there are a lot of things that can happen. Most of these are reversible. It is not a disease that is going to cause any major problems, but it affects your efficiency.
So yes, sir.
Yeah, no, nothing. There's a New England Journal of Medicine is a high impact journal of ophthalmology where they have reported 2 cases where the lady was using the mobile and turning one side and looking at the mobile, whatever video and everything for 15 minutes. And one eye was closed with the pillow. So only with one eye she was using the video and there's no light in that. As he correctly said, ambient light is important because in the dark, the pupil dilates. The whole of the eye, and then here she is using the screen close to the eye, and that is also trying to constrict. So there is a spasm of the iris. They have reported transient blindness because of that in that one eye. For half a day or 1 day, she couldn't see, and the 2 patients have been reported that. So fortunately, it does not produce total blindness or any blindness disease. As he correctly said, it's an occupational hazard, or even you can get a personal thing. So I think the main thing is we have a formula called 20-20-20. That means 20 minutes you look at the screen, and you have to normally blink, which is again people are forgetting. So I think earlier days it was involuntary, like breathing. But if you have seen, even breathing, when you go for exercise, the trainer tells you to inhale and exhale, particularly in meditation or in yoga, which we don't do normally. That's why oxygen does not reach the brain to feet. And
so
that's
20 minutes of screen and then 20 seconds.
20 minutes you can watch at the screen, and 20 seconds you look at a 20 feet distance. That means I will be relaxed when you see at a distance. When you see, whether you even read a book, see in the world, Jews have a lot of myopia in the beginning. Now Chinese have, all because of indoor activity. And then it's a chicken egg story. Whether because you are reading a lot, you have become intelligent, or because you are reading, you are getting myopia, it was a big story. But now we have found out definitely using near vision a lot will strain the eye, because eyes are not meant for only near vision. The eyes are meant for distance
so
also.
How much screen time is good?
No, you can do every time. That means every 20 minutes, you look at a distance. So that's why people recommend abroad and now in India too, where you have a glass door where you can look at the out. But people don't look at it. All the time, boss has given work or something interesting, they look here. Even when we operate in the microscope, earlier we were using microscope, now I use 3D, where I don't have to look at through the binocular. I can look at the big screen like this and operate, which is a good ergonomic design for a surgeon like me. But I think the main thing is to blink normally, which people don't do. You should not do more, you should not do less. But every 20 minutes, if you take a 20-second break, look at a 20 feet distance, your eye will be relaxed.
Okay.
That's why one of the reasons you play in the playground is to have the eyes relaxed. When you're playing football or seeing at a distance, eyes are always relaxed.
Okay. What about children then, Dr. Shah, and myopia?
So
and the relation to screen time?
All this applies to children also. I think we were discussing earlier, by the year 2050, it is expected that 50% of the world's population will be myopic or nearsighted. There's been a sudden increase in myopia in children because during this COVID time, all the children were exposed to the screen all the time, at least fixed 4 to 6 hours a day for all their academic work. Even now, it often continues in a hybrid mode sometimes or in a near mode. But increasingly, children are now exposed to screens. So, constant near work. People, even children, are increasingly on social media. Even on their, for their entertainment, they are looking at their phones or iPads. So, it's constant near work. Constant near work, less exposure to any sunlight or outdoor play or outdoor activities. Academic pressure increases, so they are really working till late night. When they work till late night, they are using their screens till almost till they sleep. So they have difficulty with sleeping because this affects the melatonin secretion.
Okay.
So their sleep patterns get disturbed. You're exposed to blue light. That also affects sleep patterns. So I think if we get children out to play during natural sunlight for at least 1 to 2 hours a day, and if we can minimize screen time to about 1 hour more than what their academics needs,
Okay.
I think that is a good
On a daily basis?
on a daily basis.
So 1 hour of screen time.
Whatever they need to do for their academics, they are going to do.
Yeah.
In addition to that, maybe half an hour or 1 hour is what you can allow
Okay.
for additional. And that is cumulative of TV, laptop, mobile,
And
iPad, everything.
from what age?
The later the age you can start, that is better. So after they are in secondary school or higher, that is better.
Yes.
No, during COVID, you brought out a valid point. Even for the adults, all started using Zoom meetings, entire, even patients, counseling, everything was done. So I made a syndrome called WhatsApp vision syndrome. Because that comprises of near vision is the computer vision syndrome, and the other is the digital eye strain. And then WhatsApp, everything they see through, even the TV or even the news, movie, everybody was started seeing in the mobile phone. And then many of the phones are small, except somebody who can afford iPhone 14 or bigger screen, or somebody can open. So that is little better than, but there is one devil better than the another one. But best is to play outside, which is what he says. And that's why, and then other thing is you read all the nonsense in the WhatsApp, which is also again straining the eye and the brain. So this is what I call the WhatsApp, and when I posted it, the Facebook banned it. I don't know whether they think it was against them. But the idea was to tell, use the WhatsApp, but use it wisely.
Wisely.
So same thing, all of us are making groups and doing it. But I think you use for a few seconds and then do some other work. You will not have strain. Yeah. And recently, when I was talking to an executive. She's an HR head in a pharmaceutical. She told her daughter is 3.5 years and has -7, which is unusual. Then I asked her what happened. She says from the time of birth, both were working from the computers on work from home. Almost 3 years, and gave the phone from the almost from the 6 months of age to play with the mobile iPad, and she's got -7 now. So I mean, now we have a drop called atropine, where we use 0.05%, should be prescribed by a pediatric ophthalmologist, not by us, where they monitor the child for the length of the eyeball, as well as the drops will help in preventing myopia, but not after 7. You should at least be 0.5 or 1, then you can control it. Maybe they can use the drops up to the age of 15, and then play in the daily. I think you will not need glasses at all.
Dr. Shah, Lasic then, who would you recommend it to, and how much has technology progressed, and what's the youngest age that you can probably do the surgery?
So Lasic is a really excellent solution to reduce dependence from glasses. You have to recommend this to people who are adults. So their number or the refractive error is stable and their eye is healthy enough to accept the treatment. So you do a thorough evaluation to study the corneal shape, the thickness of the eye, the corneal biomechanics, a CT scan for the eye, to ensure that this is safe for them in the long term, because we are doing Lasic for young people. Once you establish that the safety is okay, depending on the needs of each person or depending on specific things we see in the eye, under the broad umbrella of Lasic, we have something called surface ablation, Lasic, robotic Lasic. We have a new procedure called SMILE since 12 years, which is extremely safe. And we also have for extreme myopia something called as phakic IOLs.
Okay.
So we have many different solutions to offer people who want to reduce dependence on glasses. LASIK is one of the options, but when people talk about LASIK or laser, it's inclusive. It includes all these host of options.
Okay.
And some solution or the other can always be found for people who have glasses. Recently, in the last 12 years, even people who have weak eyes or a weak cornea, we can do strengthening procedures along with the LASIK to allow us to offer the benefit of LASIK to a wider range of people.
Okay. And Dr. Natrajan, you've dealt a lot with eye trauma cases, which is, complications due to injuries.
Yes.
Which are the most common injuries of the eye? How does it happen? How can it be prevented? And maybe an example of a case that you've resolved.
So the main thing is it happens in the school, playing in the road, in the street, then car accidents, then occupational, like in the factories, if they don't wear the protective goggles, and then a war also, where it may be a civil or a regular war. Now you see happening in Ukraine and the other, so war injuries happen, and any injury can happen. That's why one is awareness. And when we are talking about glasses, I think now the entire optical industry have to think of using a glass which should not be breakable. One of the child in a school, they were a 7-year-old boy playing with another 7-year-old girl, dashed, and then it was a fiberglass only, but still it broke 4 pieces and cut the eye, and the things in the eye came off. And then sharp object, another child wanted us to use a Swiss knife, and he kept the Swiss knife, and some guy came and put the knife over there, the eye went in like that. The part of the eye came in this hand, and the only thing I recommend is they should go to an eye doctor. And here it happened, he went to a big eye doctor in Mumbai only, and I even called the doctor because he told the eye is so badly damaged and part of the eye is in the bottle, so we'll remove the eye. I don't recommend. I represent all the International Society of Eye Injury Repair in the world, including International Society, and I'm the president of Asia Pacific. So we recommend, however bad, one is to prevent. Where car accident, wear seat belt, have the glass with whatever so that the glass doesn't break. And if you're wearing a regular spectacle glass, make sure it is not breakable. And even if it breaks, it should be cracked and it should not have a sharp this thing. And in factories, make sure the owner and the employee wears all the protective goggles required. And you need a PMMA protection. And particularly if you have lost one eye or you don't have one eye, like Patavadi, they should wear a sports protective goggles, which is not available in India, but it's Canada certified and US certified with a standard design where it is made of PMMA, so that they can wear that when they are playing. And if it is only one eye, they should avoid contact sports like football, hockey, or even because somebody can hit. So why have so they can play that. I always tell them you can play some other game. Even shuttlecock can injure. Golf ball have hit the eye. So I have seen all sorts of injuries, including the pellet in Kashmir. So I think one is prevention, but if it happens, don't remove the eye. Whatever if one doctor says, better go to another doctor and find the tertiary care centers.
So what happened to that child, or both the incidents that you spoke
So
about?
both the incidents, we have saved the eye.
Okay, all right, Dr. Shah as well as Dr. Natrajan, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you all about eye health. And what we have gathered is that there is a huge amount of technological advancement which has taken place when it comes to eye care, and one must be aware of screen time and exposure. Thank you very much for joining
Thank you,
us.
Ekta.